I was hesitant to make this video because I don't want to come across as overly negative, but this past week or so I've been thinking about this and wanted to share my thoughts and maybe see what you think as well. We recently got a nerf to weapon XP where each level takes 500 more XP, which doesn't seem like a lot during double XP, but it's definitely a slowdown to the overall progress, especially if you're nowhere near being done with pyroclastic camo. Mark Rubin made a response to a tweet where he said they're looking to revert it because it slipped into the most recent patch. I think that they thought that it wasn't going to be noticed, or they thought that it would have a smaller effect than it did, but all that it did was slow down weapon progression on the most effective method of leveling weapons, which is streaking on Team Deathmatch, which is also the most popular mode in the game by far. This weekend I tested with Quad XP using a token and playing Team Deathmatch as well as Domination, and my best result was around 16 levels per Domination match, around 20 levels per TDM while using Quad XP. The 500 XP per level increase feels a lot more like an issue when double XP is not active. This brings me around to my main point of this video. Sorry to ramble a little bit, but I think this was necessary to preface everything. Every week we get unlockable double XP tokens, usually 2 of which are 20 minutes apiece. The other one's from a community challenge, which usually gives either an hour recently, previously is given 40 minutes. This week we were only given 2 20-minute ones for challenges that we could complete, but the community one's a battle pass token, which says to me they don't want us to be progressing weapon levels too fast. Between the nerf, adding an extra 500 XP per level, and them giving 2 20-minute tokens while we have the double XP weekend, it's obvious that the game wants people to buy skins in the store and not grind for mastery camo and use that while playing the game for free. Keep in mind, if somebody grinds for the camo, level 400s, 23 different guns, they're going to use that mastery camo to flex. They're not going to be advertising the paid skin. Some people might think that I'm reaching, but this makes perfect sense. The main way that the game has of monetizing is selling cosmetics, whether that's weapon skins, faction skins, whatever. I perfectly understand the logic that there are new players recently, and they want everybody to be able to complete the battle pass. But I feel like the speed of the battle pass progression this season is really fast. There's more than enough time to complete it, even without using tokens, even if the game is not the only game that you play. That said, I don't know why they would try to slow the progression down and not tell people. Me being suspicious of things, I tend to think this is just an effort to sway people more in the direction of paid cosmetics. The more out of reach that something like pyroclastic camo seems, the more somebody will be willing to just settle for using whatever gun that they like and slapping a skin that they bought from the store on it. This brings me to an idea that I think I've heard somebody else say, probably Decoy. We should be able to put our mastery camo over the top of other skins. There's so many variants of the weapons that have cooler iron sights or a different look that could feel much more personalized and draw more gameplay hours out of players with the ability to put mastery camo over the top of them. Imagine the Battle Pass AK or the M16 with pyroclastic on it. I think that would just look super cool and bring a whole new level of customization to the game. Of course, this is not something that should be a priority by any means, but it's something that they could definitely add in the future that would cause players to sink more hours into the game. At first, when I saw that we could earn less double XP tokens this weekend than usual, something just went off in my brain. I can't help notice little things like that, and maybe I'm just looking too far into it, which is what people always tell you when they don't want you to investigate any further. But I'm sure I'm not the only one who's noticed this, and there's probably somebody who's a little bit annoyed by it, especially if they're earlier in their camo grind, possibly using weapons that they can't stand to use, feeling like they're doing a chore just because they want the camo and don't want to feel like a quitter because of sunken cost fallacy or whatever the case may be. I haven't heard any official word since, but I remember before the season started, or right at the beginning of it on Discord, a developer said, we had until the end of Season 3 to get pyroclastic. I'm not sure if they were misunderstood or they misspoke, but whenever I see complaints about the weapon XP progression speed, people are always saying, this isn't a one year game, whatever the case. This game's meant to be played over the course of X amount of time, which completely contradicts the statement of having only until the end of Season 3 to unlock the camo. In its current state, the camo is starting to feel more like something that's rewarding players who got in early as opposed to being something that would become more streamlined and higher quality of life as time goes on. I say this because I went from 18 out of 23 to 22 out of 23 overnight without doing anything after they changed the XP requirement per level for weapons. This clearly retroactively applied to my weapon levels and increased my global weapon XP, causing me to only have one more gun to do to unlock the camo. As much as I complain about things, I'm pretty sure I don't have some special creator account or something. I happen to benefit from the changes by not having to level one of my LMGs to 400. I only have 2 SMGs at 400, which should be 4, and I only have 1 shotgun level 400. Keep in mind I have other levels within those classes fairly high, but still. I basically got a benefit out of the changes. Meanwhile, a lot of people who are way earlier in the progression just got a big nerf. When I noticed that I could level the guns that I wanted the camo on to 500, I immediately started doing so after the latest patch. Part of me wonders if a change will happen that'll revert some of my progress, but I highly doubt it with all of the challenges going on within the company. They seem to be a small development team who's having to spread relatively thin in order to fix a lot of the major issues. I also think it would be kind of funny for them to punish somebody for their mistake. So I think at the very least the pyroclastic unlocks I've gotten on the 6 or so guns will probably stay. I may or may not go back and level up some of those other required weapons later on, but I'm at a point where now I just want to have fun playing the game, play it how I want, rather than feeling like I'm doing something just as a means to an end. I think the game is suffering from some of the issues that many live services have, which is being able to maintain a pace of new content releases that keeps people coming back and engaged. Part of me wonders, even if netcode was perfect, if getting one new map a month is enough. I think that Ubisoft Connect challenges are cool to work for weekly, but I feel like there's also a lot more that could be there in terms of depth. Even looking at something like Halo Infinite, which isn't the most successful game lately, but they have battle passes that can be earned retroactively. So all these cosmetics, which might seem cool to have while nobody else has, are money left on the table for the company. It's quite frankly time left on the table. If somebody could unlock everything from this season's battle pass and then decide to start progressing a previous one, they would sink twice the amount of time into the game, twice the money. I think at the end of the day, the game needs to sell cosmetics in order to thrive and continue to be something that the company sees as viable for business. I just think that they can take measures to improve things like the battle pass idea, maybe putting all the cosmetics in the store all the time, rather than doing this fear of missing out buy now type of rotation thing. Maybe the professionals who make those decisions just know what they're doing and we're all idiots, and that's the best way for earning that fear of missing out pressure. But then again, we've only tested one method. Maybe consider trying just opening up the store like Call of Duty did. I remember Modern Warfare 2019, you could look for blueprints under the specific weapon that you liked, and there was like 5-6 different options. Sometimes the store would rotate, but usually they would leave things up for a long enough time to where people could spend their money. Let me know what you think about all this. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you have a great week. Hope that I catch you on the next video. Consider liking and subscribing. Take it easy.